The army of infected swarms out. Surviving residents suffer from the disaster. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Happy Movie. Today, we continue with the content of The Last of Us Episode 5. The resistance in Kansas City has finally overthrown the brutal rule of the authorities. All residents gather in the square, cheering endlessly. Next is the bloody extermination of the remaining forces. Of course, no mercy is shown to the traitors among them. These people were originally the lower-class residents of the city, but in order to obtain more supplies for their lives, they secretly collaborated with the previous rulers. Resistance leader Kathleen is deeply disgusted by this. After giving the order for complete extermination to her subordinates, she emphasizes the need to capture Henry and Sam. Meanwhile, on the streets of the city, teams of resistance forces are searching for Henry. The brothers, relying on their familiarity with the terrain, always manage to evade the sight of the resistance forces. After circling a few times, they quietly enter an abandoned house. But in the darkness, a figure suddenly appears. Henry breathes a sigh of relief when he sees the other person. It turns out the two are longtime friends. During the chaos in the city, they had agreed to take refuge in this hidden attic. However, they don't have much food with them. Henry calculates that they can hold on for a maximum of 11 days. Henry sees his brother Sam, sitting in a corner looking unhappy. He immediately puts on a relaxed expression and takes out a bag of colored pencils. Cartoon drawings appear on the surrounding walls, one after another. This quickly makes Sam forget about the current predicament. 10 days pass in the blink of an eye. Their supplies have been depleted due to a miscalculation, and the white-haired old man, who went out to find supplies, hasn't returned for many days. Henry understands what has happened. He must have been captured by the resistance forces. To avoid revealing the hiding place of the Henry brothers, this old man has lost his life. The resistance forces outside are still searching everywhere. Henry knows it's time to leave, but Sam is extremely nervous. Henry looks at the Superman drawing on the wall, pretends to be mysterious, and asks his brother to close his eyes. Then, he lightly applies paint on Sam's face. It looks just like the little Superman on the mural. Sam immediately shows a relaxed smile, just as the brothers are about to leave. Gunfire suddenly erupts outside the door. Henry quietly peers out. It's Joel battling the resistance forces in the city. A slight movement stirs in Henry's heart. He follows the other person to a building from a distance. Taking advantage of the quiet night, he sneaks into the room and captures Joel and Ellie. However, Henry has no intention of killing for supplies. Instead, he wants to negotiate cooperation with them. All four of them are targets of the resistance forces' capture. In a sense, they are natural allies. Henry is very familiar with the terrain here. He knows a hidden route that leads outside the city. Joel is cautious. You can escape on your own. Why cooperate with me? Henry is a bit helpless. He says he has never killed anyone in his life. He needs Joel, who is skilled in combat, to help clear the way. Seeing Ellie and Sam getting along well, Joel finally agrees to cooperate. Henry quickly takes out a piece of paper. The surroundings of Kansas City are full of resistance guards. The only way to escape is to use underground tunnels. Joel asked, since there won't be resistance guards, why does he need to deal with enemies? Henry's expression is somewhat serious. The reason this city has no infected is because they were all driven underground. Joel's face changes. So, going into the underground tunnel means seeking death, right? Joel's face changes. Henry nods affirmatively. The infected in the tunnel are scarce. At most, you might encounter one or two. Joel knows that although it's a bit risky, it is the only way to escape at the moment. The four hurriedly arrive at the subway station. They are going to use the underground tunnel to escape the city full of resistance forces. The road ahead is extremely dark. The four lower their steps and move slowly, carefully guarding against the infected that could appear at any moment. Fortunately, not long after, they find a hidden shelter. The walls around are covered with colorful patterns, and there are many supplies scattered on the ground. Joel is not surprised by this. When the infection broke out, many survivors hid underground. Unfortunately, they eventually disappeared. Ellie and Sam, however, don't care about this. They keep looking for interesting toys. Having grown up in the post-apocalyptic world, they can't comprehend the cruelty of the fungal outbreak. Henry's face is full of contentment. He hasn't seen his brother so happy in a long time. Joel suddenly understands why Henry chose to collaborate with the enemies to feed his brother in the apocalypse. He needs more resources. Henry sighs. Things are not that simple. Otherwise, the resistance forces wouldn't be searching for them so intensively. It turns out that Henry's brother, Sam, has leukemia. The only treatment is to find the rulers and exchange for medicine. So, Henry had to betray and kill the leader of the resistance he admired the most. The current leader of the resistance, Kathleen, is the younger sister of the former resistance leader. This is why she harbors deep hatred for Henry and his brother. Joel, after hearing the story, remains silent for a long time. There's no hint of blame in his heart. In a world where survival is the priority, few can claim to have a clear conscience. But fortunately, Joel and the others quickly pass through the tunnel and reach the outside of the city smoothly. Ellie has already started persuading the Henry brothers to go to Wyoming together, but Joel's face is full of disagreement. Ellie seems to have anticipated his reaction long ago.
Never, ever, ever
A gunshot breaks the silence. Joel and the others quickly hide behind a car. Someone from a nearby attic is shooting at them. Joel knows this can't continue. There's a sniper on the rooftop not far away. Joel instructs Ellie to stay put and not move. He plans to go around and deal with the sniper. Joel times his movements with the sound of gunfire, constantly changing hiding spots. Fortunately, the sniper's aim isn't accurate. Joel gets closer to the sniper on the rooftop, quietly opening a door on the second floor. Joel tiptoes to the location. Surprisingly, the sniper turns out to be an old man with white hair. Joel signals that putting down the weapon will save his life, but the next moment, Joel picks up the sniper rifle and is about to leave. When Kathleen's voice comes through the radio, reinforcements are on the way. The man immediately shouts at Joel to escape, but it's too late. A large group of resistance forces has arrived. The lead-heavy truck is directly charging towards Ellie. Just as the truck is about to crush them, at a critical moment, Joel, on the rooftop, takes a shot that kills the driver. The out-of-control truck crashes into a nearby house. There's a violent explosion. The resistance forces who just got at the truck are startled. The just-disembarked resistance forces are surprised, but the smoke gradually clears. Kathleen starts organizing a search. Joel on the rooftop hides behind the wall. At this point, a counterattack is futile, and Henry, hiding behind the car, knows that they will be discovered sooner or later. For the sake of Ellie and Sam, Henry steps forward. He only asks Kathleen to spare the two kids. As she shakes her head, refusing, she knows in this apocalyptic world, children will die sooner or later. Just as she is about to shoot and kill Henry, the truck that just exploded suddenly collapses. Unexpectedly, beneath the debris, there's a deep pit. From inside, low growls can be heard. And in the next moment, a large group of infected suddenly crawls out of the pit. They pounce on the resistance forces nearby. Even with their fierce firepower, they can't resist the onslaught of the infected. Henry immediately reunites with the two kids and runs towards a safe zone. Unfortunately, they are quickly scattered by the infected. Joel on the rooftop quickly provides cover fire. Ellie reacts quickly, swiftly moving along the ground. She slides into an abandoned car. But at that moment, a massive infected emerges from the pit. Its strength is significantly greater. Kathleen's subordinate urges her to leave first. Then, he frantically shoots at the towering infected. But in the next moment, the subordinate meets a gruesome fate. In the car where Ellie is, a small-sized infected suddenly climbs in. Ellie flees in panic and happens to see Henry trapped under the car. At this moment, she doesn't have time to think much. She quickly runs towards the two. Joel on the rooftop is frantic, firing shots to cover them. Ellie pulls out her knife. With one slash, she takes out the infected. The three of them finally manage to escape the battlefield. Little do they know, Kathleen suddenly appears with a gun. Ellie turns pale. The small-sized infected reappears. Suddenly, it lunges at Kathleen. Joel, who has descended the stairs, quickly leads the others away, leaving behind countless infected running towards the residential area. In an abandoned building far from the city, Joel, still catching his breath, is visibly shaken. Ellie and Sam, however, seem unfazed, engrossed in looking at a book. Henry urges the two kids to go to sleep quickly, but Ellie, naturally rebellious, calls Sam to continue reading after the door is closed. After some reluctance, Sam writes a line in his notebook. What is your greatest fear? Ellie thinks for a moment and says she fears being the last person left in the world. Sam's fear is whether he'll remain himself after being infected. Then, he lifts his pant leg, revealing a bleeding bite mark. Ellie's expression changes, but she quickly regains composure. She mentions that she was bitten by an infected before. Perhaps her blood is the cure. Ellie takes out her knife, cuts her palm, and smears her blood on Sam's wound. But Sam is still somewhat worried. He requests that Ellie stay with him to remain conscious. Ellie agrees readily, but unintentionally falls asleep until dawn. Sam is silently sitting on the bed. When Ellie sees him, she is about to greet him. Unexpectedly, he lunges at her. Henry outside the room is startled, quickly picking up his gun. He instinctively shoots the infected Sam. As Sam's blood slowly flows, Henry realizes that he has killed his brother. He then points the gun at his own head. The sky outside is ominously dark. Joel buries Henry's brother in a patch of green grass. Ellie places Sam's used notebook in front of the mound. On it is written 3 words, "I'm sorry," because she couldn't stay awake with Sam all the time. Joel remains silent throughout. As in the post-apocalyptic world, everyone has to endure too many regrets and apologies. This is the episode 5 of The Last of Us. If you enjoyed our video, please follow Happy Movie. See you in the next episode.